What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, happy Super Bowl Sunday. Hopefully, y'all are going to be checking out the big game later today, or at least the commercials, or at least halftime, or all three, whatever. Anyway, we got some women's college hoops happening right now, but I do want to give you all some information that you may or may not know. A big-ish update for you, and it is that UCLA star center Lauren Betts has officially decided to stay for her senior season in the 2025-2026 year, so next year. Now, not a surprise at all, but huge deal for UCLA, huge deal for college basketball as a whole, and huge implications for the WNBA Draft, because Lauren Betts is a either number 1, number 2, or number 3 pick in either this year's draft or next year's draft. So, guys, let's break down why she's staying, what it means for UCLA, and what to expect in the future. Now, guys, Lauren Betts could have declared for the 2025 WNBA Draft because the eligibility says that you have to be 22 years old by the time of the draft. Lauren Betts accomplishes that. So her age factor wasn't an issue. She is currently a junior, but she is at an age where she can absolutely be eligible for the draft if she wants to be. She's a 6'7" center that is a projected top 3, top 5 pick in either this year's draft or next year's draft. And the reason why she's going to be likely picked so high is because she's one of the most dominant post players in college basketball right now. Actually, probably the most dominant player, the post player in college basketball right now. She is averaging 20.2 points a game, 9.9 rebounds a game, 2.9 blocks a game. Again, did I tell y'all that she's standing at 6'7"? I mean, you can't teach height. You cannot teach height. And UCLA is rocking and rolling with Lauren Betts. They are 22-0 on the season so far, sitting at number 1 in the country. Y'all remember they beat South Carolina earlier this year, and I don't anticipate UCLA losing anytime soon. So yeah, they're probably going to finish out the entire season undefeated going into tournament play. But instead of heading to the pros for Lauren Betts, where she would be a high draft pick again, she is choosing to run it back for another season with UCLA. And, dude, I love this decision. I absolutely love the decision. Here's what Lauren Betts told ESPN. She said, "College is the best years of your life, and so I don't think I'd ever give that up. Why not be spoiled for a whole season, whole another year? The way the coaches take care of us in this program, like how comfortable I am here, and I think that the friendships I've created, I'd want to do that for another year." I mean, guys, when you watch UCLA basketball, you see how much of like a family they are. Like they're very, very close. Like we saw it last year in Lauren Betts' first year with the team. We're seeing it this year. Like this team, headed by their head coach, Corey Close, is literally what her last name says. They are close. This is a close team. And they really do care about each other. And I just love the relationship that the players and the coaching staff seem to have with each other. Like it's a great vibe. And Lauren Betts is like, hey, why would I want to leave that early? No, I'm staying. And I mean, when you have a top tier coach like a Corey Close, when you have an incredible team bond, and you have a chance to compete for a national championship, why are you going to rush to leave? You wouldn't. And that is why Lauren Betts is staying. But here is the real cherry on top for Lauren Betts' decision to stay at UCLA for another year, and it is involving her sister, Siena Betts. She is joining UCLA next season to rock out with them, man. And y'all, if y'all don't know Sienna, she is a 6'4" forward and the number 2 recruit in the country. And she picked UCLA. The Betts sisters have never played together at this level, so I think it's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for them. And Lauren Betts said it herself, right? She said, "I think that I would be crazy if I gave up the opportunity to play with my sister. So obviously, I'm going to come back next year." I mean, we knew that. We knew that. I didn't think Lauren Betts was going to enter the draft because of her sister, and she confirmed that, yeah, she's not entering the draft this year because she wants to play with her sister. Also, she loves her team. Also, she loves her coaches. But really, the number one thing on her list of staying is her sister. And let's be real, guys. It is going to be so fun to watch them two play together because Siena Betts is fantastic in college. You got 2 dominant players on the same team with the same last name. It's about to be a problem. It's about to be a problem for the rest of college basketball come next season because if y'all don't know about Siena now, you're going to know about it later because Siena Betts was named the Colorado Gatorade Player of the Year for girls basketball last season. And for the second consecutive year, as a junior, She averaged 22.5 points a game, 15.6 rebounds a game, 4.6 assists per game, 3.3 blocks a game, 2.2 steals a game. Like, she's been rocking and rolling. And Corey Close describes Sienna as a flat out dominant player on both ends of the floor. She is physical, strong, and aggressive. She also has an excellent touch, is an excellent passer, and has added a deadly 3-point shot. I love that we have another Betts in a Bruin uniform, but Sienna is running her own lane. She reminds me of A'ja Wilson at that age. The sky is the limit for Sienna. I mean, comparing anybody to A'ja Wilson, that is very, very high praise. So I can't wait to ultimately see what Sienna does next season. And so what does this mean for UCLA? Well, for starters, they are already one of the best teams in college basketball right now. And with Betts coming back for another, Lauren Betts coming back for another season, you got Siena Betts and others joining the team next year. It's hard not to imagine that UCLA will be competing in a national championship either this year or, if it doesn't work out, next year. Though they got a huge chance of doing it this year. I think by and large, this team is absolutely fantastic. The only team that I could really see really rivaling UCLA this year is South Carolina. That's about it. I really do think that we probably will see UCLA in a national championship game this year, but if not this year, for sure next year, because they're building something really, really special, and they're getting the recruits to help to continue that effort. So we'll ultimately see what happens next year. And also by the end of this year, too, because this year is not over. This year is not over, even though we're talking about next year. And speaking of this year, so far for UCLA, just like last year, everything begins and ends with their best player, Lauren Betts. Last year, she transferred from Stanford to UCLA, rediscovered her confidence in the post, and has taken this team from a Sweet 16 squad to a possible national championship contender. She's got some unfinished business that she's going to work through this year and next year, trying to ultimately hit the mark and hit that national championship game. So I think this is huge for UCLA, huge for Lauren Betts. Also, I do think that the only piece left on the draft question mark board is Flau'jae Johnson. Flau'jae Johnson will also hit that 22 age mark for the WNBA draft, so she will be eligible this upcoming year for the draft. There are some indications that say she might be leaving and going to the WNBA next year, but there's still a question mark. Does she enter the draft? Because now that Lauren Betts is not entering, again, like I said, she was probably going to be a number 1 or number 2 or number 3 pick. Honestly, if you got the chance of getting Lauren Betts, that actually might just be one pick right there. If you were Dallas, you probably would have, maybe, yeah, because that's a franchise building piece right there. But with her not entering in the draft, okay, now what does Flau'jae Johnson do? Flau'jae Johnson is also another what I would consider top 3, top 4 player in the draft if she decides to opt in for 2025. Does she? That's the question. There's a lot of stuff up in the air. The next domino again that needs to fall is us figuring out where exactly what does Flau'jae Johnson do? What does she do? That's the question. But anyway, I'm excited to ultimately see the Betts sisters do their thing next year. So it should be really, really fun. What about you? Were you anticipating Lauren Betts entering, going for another season for college basketball? Were you expecting that? If you weren't or were, let me know in the chat. Also, what do y'all think about Siena Betts and her being able to play with her sister next year? Ultimately, what do you think UCLA is going to do? Again, I told y'all I do think they're a national championship team. But ultimately, what do y'all think? Let me know in the chat, and I will see y'all in the next one. Again, happy Super Bowl Sunday. Go Kansas City Chiefs. I'll see y'all in the next one. All right, bye-bye.